Okay, this is the last of the bits and pieces I found at the shop today. This is a nice Philips PM2517E digital multimeter. It was hidden away in the corner of the shop. I don't know if someone had missed it. People had been through and sort of taken all the stuff they wanted. There were no radio valves. There were a few TV valves, but no radio valves of any use to me, which was a bit of a shame. I was hoping to find some valves. They had other bits of test equipment. They had TV pattern generators. I'm never going to use one of those, I don't think. And odd bits and pieces of different signal generators, but nothing as elaborate as I've got already, so I wasn't too bothered. But anyway, I found this on the top shelf and grabbed that. I got it back home, and unfortunately the batteries were still in it, and they had leaked badly. Looking at the batteries, they were the shelf life of 1994, and obviously it's been in there since probably the late 80s and the leaked. And I cleaned all the contacts up, and they've cleaned up fairly well. I haven't got batteries in at the moment, but it's the typical sort of style of the Philips stuff. It's almost a bit sort of like almost homemade quality to it. Nicely made inside, all nicely laid out. Skeleton pots for adjustment of the parameters and things. So I basically took it apart, cleaned it up, cleaned the contacts up, and it all seems to be working fine. I'm presently running on external power supply. I've been through it, and calibration seems to be pretty good actually. Let me just give you a quick run through. It's in the standby mode, as you see here, which is basically a battery saver mode, and that will allow the display, well, that lets the display shut off if you haven't used the meter for a while, or basically you take a reading and you'll see in about a minute's time the display will go blank. It does RMS volts, which is nice. So it's obviously a true RMS meter. I don't know how good it is at a RMS reading. I haven't actually tried the AC volt range. As you see, the display's gone off there, so that's the power saving mode. It does DC volts at the moment. It's got ohms. It's got a full voltage drop on diodes. It's also got a temperature sensor. I think that's probably just a thermistor input, but the thermistor input's in the side here. You can see these two inputs here. You see this hole with the the slot over it. That's where the 5-pin DIN plug is, and obviously you put a thermocouple in there. Won't use that. And then you've got the 10 amps range on the left hand side for AC and DC, and then the milliamps, and the normal range is really for any sort of multimeter. If you turn it to on, it keeps the display on all the time, and it's basically acting like a normal multimeter. The display won't go off now. So let's run through it quickly. Let's put some volts into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run using the reference meter, and let's try and get about 3 volts in and see how we do with there. It's a bit jumpy. Let's see if we can get. Okay, 3.001. There you go. That's pretty good. Let's try the next range up. So we want the meter to jump to the next range, and it also ranges at 9.9 volts. You'll see the decimal point jump to the next range now. Okay, let's have a look. 10.23, and that's saying 10.23. So drifting around a bit. 10.2. Yeah, that's good. So that's obviously smack on as well. And then if you increase it right the way up, it's slightly unlinear. But if you see here, 67.30, 67.32. So it's pretty good. It's pretty accurate. And obviously a pretty decent quality meter if it's stayed in calibration for sort of probably 20 years without being used. So yeah, quite a nice meter. They are clunky. It was cheap, so it was. I wasn't too worried about. I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on it. Basically, I probably never used the thing, but it was just an interesting meter, and I wanted to see what it was like. And here you see it. But thanks for watching, and more videos to come.